What's happening, everyone, and welcome to this week's Internet Dads. We all trust that you've been well. Joining me today is my fellow dad, Mr. Spencer. Spencer.
Rory, how are you?
You're wearing a football shirt.
I am, as I tend to. We talked about this before. You know, I have a use it or lose it rule with my football shirts. But more importantly, I'll be honest, I am wearing it today out of spite.
Protest.
Well, first of all, let's just get the obvious out of the way. This is a brand spanking new #United home kit, and it's a thing of beauty. I'm sure you agree. Brand new, off the shelves, flying off them. However, I made a point of wearing it today because, as you also tend to do quite a lot these days, you've had a clip go somewhat viral from your TalkSport show where you quite succinctly said that anyone above the age of 12 that wears a football shirt is essentially doing fancy dress. And you basically mugged a lot of people off, including me, who often is definitely over 12 and often wears football shirts. So I wanted to take you to task over this, Rory, because just last week we sat and had an episode and you asked about getting a # shirt. So, I mean, what's your real stance on this? You like football shirts or not? You want a # shirt or not?
I don't care. I really don't. I don't care whether people wear them. If you want to wear it, fine. I would just choose to not wear it to a match. That was my
match.
That was my issue.
So you don't have, and you did mention on the pod that you would wear it to, you know, the gym or play. So you see it purely as a sporting item.
It's a sporting item
during sport.
It's not a proper. It's not, in my opinion, it's not a proper way to get dressed. You're not fully dressed, in my opinion.
I'm partially naked.
You're partially naked. Yeah. You haven't committed to getting dressed in the morning.
In the same way that you didn't like when I wore my sliders. And all that sort of thing.
Exactly that. It's comparable to that. But equally, I think it's very important to acknowledge here, I don't actually care. I don't actually mind if people wear what they want. I've got far more important things to worry about than other people's fashion.
But do you at least acknowledge, though, you know, that your club and every other club make a significant amount of money, certainly the top clubs, from football shirt sales? If people stop wearing them casually, don't wear them to games, the utility of that shirt is going to drop off a cliff, and actually that money's going to be a lot lower.
Yeah,
for
but
the
I don't think
so
that's the motivation. That's not the motivation of people wearing. People who wear football kits, I don't think the motivation is, let me contribute to the...
No, certainly right. But if everyone felt the way you felt, it would have a direct consequence on a club's profit margin.
That's true. But equally, if everyone felt the way I felt, football attendances would be through the roof. Because
are they not already? Most stadiums sell out.
Throughout the game, I don't think they are. Throughout the game, there's a bit of an issue with attendance, isn't there?
Maybe the lower levels.
Yeah.
The lower levels. But the top clubs are the ones that send the shirts. The point is, listen, whether you like wearing a shirt, no one can tell, just like you can't tell anyone whether they should wear a shirt or not. No one can tell you to wear one either.
I've been getting this, so nobody cares about me.
That's very true.
Nobody cares about, like, what does it matter? This is what I don't understand. I present my opinion. I don't know why.
But you really do feel that way, though, don't you? Like,
I wouldn't wear a football. People kept sending me pictures of me wearing a football kit as if it was some sort of victory. I have worn them. I will wear them again. But what you will never find is a picture of me in a football stadium wearing a football
Even
kit.
as a young, well, under
No,
12.
as a kid you will.
But once you hit 12, puberty hit on,
12,
the football shirt
15,
no longer.
Maybe. Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, what I will say is, because, you know, I did put a little comment in the clip that went on Instagram and said, like, he was asking me for a # shirt last week, which you did, but you did actually say at the time, in fairness to you, to wear in the gym or playing paddle or whatever. So I will say you're a man of your word in that sense, because I haven't seen you wear a football shirt casually. Like, for me, I just feel so different to you on that. Like, I think, like, you know, like, for example, when we play poker, I think football shirt is a nice thing to wear there. I think it's a nice way of expressing yourself, not just with the club you support. You know, and then you probably have an opinion on this, but wearing shirts of other teams from other countries and things like this, it's a nice way of expressing your allegiances or even your political stance sometimes, because certain clubs, you know, lean certain ways. You know, we've got a good friend of ours who's an excellent poker player, Sam Grafton, who loves to wear his Arsenal shirts at the poker table.
Or any shirt. Blackburn Rovers
any football shirt. Adam McCullough is not that different to that either. But personally, I think you're missing out on something. I think you maybe take yourself a little bit too seriously in that regard.
It's not about taking myself seriously. I mean, far from it. I certainly don't take myself seriously. I just get dressed properly. I just commit. It's very comparable to wearing sliders, but equally, mate, I don't know why my choice to wear what I want to wear and my opinion on your choice, like, you think my choice is wrong.
No, I don't. Actually.
Lots of people think I'm wrong on this, and I don't attack them. I don't go to them and go, you're this, you're that.
But you did, though. You sort of basically mugged anyone off over 12 who wears a football shirt. You said they're playing fancy dress. I'm playing fancy dress right now. According to you, I'm partially dressed, yet you're the one that gets his legs out.
Yeah, you are playing fancy dress. Yeah, you're dressed as an athlete. You're dressed as a footballer.
You're dressed as a penguin.
No, I'm dressed.
You got a penguin on your top.
No.
You're pretending to be a penguin.
No. I'm whether you like the brand. I'm dressed in a polo top.
Oh, I don't mind the brand, but you're not playing polo, are you?
No.
Polo top. Is that what it was made for eventually?
No.
Originally?
No.
I think it's a stretch.
People are attacking me, and my men's mental health is suffering.
No, you know exactly what.
And now look what you think.
Your clip has done 1 million views on Instagram. You're loving every minute of it.
No, I'm not.
You wish you hadn't said it? Do you regret saying it?
A little bit.
But you believe it, though?
I certainly believe it, but I didn't gain much from saying it.
Listen, we can go off on a tangent here. We've kind of delved into this on the podcast before, but I think you're very good at eliciting a response on football matters. I think you're also very self-aware in the sense of the things you say you do actually believe, but also ultimately these things don't really matter. You're not actually saying something about someone's beliefs.
But people have gone crazy about
this. They do, and they will.
You wouldn't believe I reckon this could be the number one in terms of garnering aggressive.
People love their football shirts, mate. And I wouldn't say I love them as much as I used to, but I used to absolutely love them and collect them. And part of the reason I wear them more now is because I have too many. So I'm trying to work out which ones I actually like. And if I don't wear it over a period of months, I'll get rid of it. But I don't think it's a bit like the football boots is a similar thing. I don't, but some people collect these football boots. They get these like lovely Predators and things, and they'll just sit them and never wear them. And I'm very much of the wear your boots. Like if you've got your nice ones, like wear them.
Oh yeah. You have to do that. You can never. I've made mistakes in the past where I get something that I like, protect it for so long that I then never wear it.
Yeah,
and it's a mistake.
Well, anyway, after we've covered that, tick that off the list. It's a special day today. Obviously, we're in summer holidays, but we have a special guest. They're not coming on the pod, but they are within a few meters of us right now.
Yes,
your daughter Clementine.
Yes, it's been a come to work with Daddy day. She's been to High Street Kensington. She's been busy. She's been working. She's been filming this morning. She's met Gordon Smart and Mark Clattenburg.
Okay.
So she's had a great morning. She's met Spencer FC, so she's had an even better morning.
Big, I was high on her bucket list.
She's met our producer Saffron, so she's literally living the dream.
And has she been a good girl?
She's been amazing, actually. I was really intimidated at the prospect of bringing her to work because it's a daunting prospect. She has the potential to be awkward and make life quite tricky, and she hasn't. She's just been sensational throughout. I've been actually incredibly impressed.
She's been good as gold. And she also definitely, this is my first time meeting her, and she actually has a cutting sense of humour, I've noticed already, particularly as it links to you. I showed her this thing up there that says World's Best Dad. I said, would you give that to your dad? She said, no, I'd change it to World's Best Clementine and give it to myself.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that does sound almost spot on. Yeah, like we were wearing that. She went, I need to change that. I need to make it she said, I'm going to take that home. Ask Mummy to unpick the dad and get Clementine written on it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm dealing with, Spencer.
It's what you're dealing with. Well, when you mentioned the WhatsApp group that you were going to bring her in, I sort of said to you, like, the whole bring your kid to work day thing. But this is, and I don't want to go over this again, we've talked about it a lot, but this is a little bit of a glimmer of what unschooling could be like.
Oh, God, no. We can't talk homeschooling again.
No, I'm not saying you'd bring her every week, but, and I think she's got her iPad on now and she's listening to something else. But I personally believe that the day you've taken her on today and all the things you've exposed her to, and meeting people from different industries and ages and all these things is so beneficial for her.
Yeah, no, it is, no doubt. When combined with, this is your ABC at school. When combined with these are your timetables at school, like coming and meeting you and watching Alpha put the cameras together and watching Saffron prep us for the show, that's fantastic exposure. Of course it is. It's a wonderful thing, and I think she'll be more well-rounded. She was on the train with me. She understands a working day. I've said, you're going to work today. What's your day rate? She said £100 1 minute. I went, okay, that's good.
Per minute?
Rate. Per minute. That's a good rate. But exposing her to all of that is incredibly important, and on that, I concede with your stance is correct. But I would also say that the regimented routine of school is also incredibly important to her development.
Yeah, but if you can instigate a regimented routine in an unschooling world, that, like, essentially, I guess what I'm saying is, if you can see the benefit in a day like today, then the question then would be, if you extrapolate that further and massively increase the amount of these sorts of days that are possible because of, and they're not tied to the traditional school schedule, like how beneficial could that be? But doing it a lot more. Right now, it's like a treat, it's a summer holidays type thing, and it's great. But then, depending, I think not at 6, by the way. Like I'm talking about really secondary school age for me is where I talk. And just so you know, when I talk about unschooling and stuff as it links to my life, I've always kind of seen it as like a secondary school on thing.
Right.
I very much see primary school age is really good to all the things you like.
Grounding,
get the discipline. Find out if they actually vibe with school as well, and if they love it and they're thriving, leave them in 100%. I've always said that. But I think if there is, a leaning towards some other things or a clear skill in a certain area or interest in an industry, then you can expose that if you're lucky enough to have that set up at the secondary school age. And days like this, you could do so many more of them.
Yeah. No, and you know what? Today, so far, I appreciate the night is young, but if we get home and everything goes to plan, this has been a bit of an eye-opener for me. I may well bring her around more. Because she's actually been fantastic company. I've had a far better day than if she wasn't with me.
I brought my little boy into London last Friday. He got his, I think we put it on Instagram, he got his first stripe in jiu-jitsu, which is a big deal if you're a jiu-jitsu family. And we're super proud of him. So I said, I always said to him, and every time you get a stripe, and it depends, it's basically based on attendance, the stripes really, certainly at his age. So you're looking at like anything from like 3 to 6 months per stripe, right? So it's a bit of a slog, it takes a while. And I said, when you get your first one, every time you get one, we'll do something special. So on Friday, I took him into London and we did a little tour of some of the best toy shops. So we came off at Tottenham Court Road. I took him to Games Workshop, which I was really into.
Don't get him into that, little
mug.
But
to be fair, he wasn't really feeling it.
What do you mean you were, you little mug?
I started in... Oh, okay.
Were you?
A lot of people don't come after the Games Workshop community.
Were you really?
I didn't...
Painting your little figurines like a little drip?
There's nothing wrong with painting figurines.
Oh, no. Were you one of them?
I didn't play the game. I didn't understand the rules.
your ass at school.
But I did paint... I particularly loved the Lord of the Rings Games Workshop collection. But if you guys watching,
Saffron,
you guys watching, I was a big Space Marine guy.
No,
Whirlwind tank. My dad helped me with that. One of the best Whirlwind tanks you see in terms of looking like they came on the box. Exquisite.
Mate, how have you got 2 children?
This is why, mate. There's a lot of girls that like Warhammer. Let me tell you,
mate. That's where you find the girls. All the good-looking girls.
A certain kind of girls.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah, this
Get
is
out.
Freaky shit. Sorry, Saffron. Clementine, get those headphones on. But one of my most badass moments, I'm not proud of this, and I'm pretty sure I can't get done for this because there's no proof. But this is a great example of the juxtaposition of my personality. So, yes, I did collect a little bit of Warhammer, right? But I never played the game. I never went to Warhammer Club. I never went to the shops and hang around with them. I was always doing my own little thing. So, there was a Warhammer Club at my school, and one day I think I had detention or something, so I was staying behind late, and I noticed the Warhammer Club was on. So rather than go in there and become friends with them, I went in there and just nicked loads of Warhammer and took it home.
Thief.
Basically a thief, yeah.
Thief.
I think I did return it at a later date, but the point is, you can be your sort of geeky Warhammer kid, or you can be like your cool, fun Warhammer kid.
No, there isn't a spectrum. There isn't a cool Warhammer.
Right.
No, there isn't there is no cool wing of Warhammer.
There is, mate.
There really
the cool kids are into Space Marines. That's why.
It's funny. I didn't know you'd be very rare that someone dedicated to football, obsessed with football.
But I wasn't into football that time.
Oh, I was going to say, because they're worlds that do not collide.
Yeah, I didn't get into football till I was like 12, 13.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny that you were one of.
But that's why I'm such a I have so many different things. So multi-dimensional because I've been in so many little areas. I like Warhammer, sure. That. Chess club, why not? Football, go on then.
Why?
School, I was the captain of the school quiz team.
Warhammer.
I won the big quiz face-off. Year 7, and exact last question that filled me the deal.
See if I'd have got it.
Who, and this is contentious in terms of the answer, but who was the inventor of the computer?
The computer?
Well, I can't remember the way the word was questioned because it's technically like the first computer, i.e. not an electrical thing. And the answer is Charles Babbage. And I got that right. Year 7, won it, crowd went wild. There was no crowd.
There was no crowd,
no. And, it was just a one-man team. So I say I was the captain of the school team. It was just me.
Wasn't it Al Gore?
Al Gore? No, I don't think he's anything to do with the computer, mate. Al Gore was the...
What did he invent?
He was the vice president.
Internet. He invented the internet.
No, that's not Al Gore.
It's Al Gore.
It's not. Al Gore is the whole inconvenient truth guy. The guy you're talking about is a British guy with a double-barrel surname that invented the internet. I can't think of his name right now.
No, you're thinking telephone, Alexander Graham.
No. British guy.
No, yeah, you're thinking telephone.
Years between
you're
those
thinking
two
telephone.
In the 80s.
Al Gore invented the
Saffron
internet.
will Google it right now and give you an answer.
Saffron, did Al Gore
Al
invent
Gore
the
is
internet?
nothing to do with the internet.
God, it's...
Tim Berners-Lee.
And who invented the internet?
British
Al Gore.
guy. Tim Berners-Lee, not
No,
Al Gore.
Al Gore.
No, Saffron, tell him. Al Gore is the ex-vice president of the United States.
Put into GI chat, or whatever it's called. Did Al Gore invent the internet?
Rory, do yourself a favour. You're literally embarrassing yourself.
No, I'm not.
Al Gore is the vice president.
I know
Bill
who Al
Clinton,
Gore is, yeah.
Inconvenient truth.
Yeah, I'm very aware. But he also says it. Did he say he did? When you put it in, does it say anything about him inventing the internet? Pretty sure it does.
This is like me last week when I was adamant about how many people have died against lives. The point is, Rory, so I didn't know about that quote, so well done for knowing that quote. But the point is, you heard a incorrect quote and decided it was true.
According to
you're telling people that he invented the internet.
Saffron sitting around the corner who just wants us to move on to what we're supposed to be talking about.
You have someone opposite you telling you, I am aware, forgot his name.
I'm aware of Tim Berners-Lee. Yeah, I'm aware of that, but there is also another theory. Maybe
There's no theory. Like,
Maybe it's propagated by Al Gore.
That's not a theory.
Al Gore has certainly suggested that he invented the internet.
But I could suggest I've invented the internet. It doesn't make it real.
No, but there must be grounds for him to believe that.
Well, I think we'll have to agree to disagree. I haven't heard the quotes. I don't know. But
we'll
anyway,
agree that you agree.
I know
with
that
me.
Tim Berners-Lee is generally cited as the inventor of the World Wide Web.
Well, he has a lot to answer for.
Well, he does. Yeah, he's got blood in his hands.
He has a lot to answer for.
But obviously, having Clementine in today is great, and it's a good time to talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the buggy in the room.
Ooh la la.
Today's sponsor, Eye Candy. This is the Pip. It is the brand new, highly anticipated compact fold pushchair from Eye Candy. It is a godsend, particularly when travelling. And you can actually take these on aeroplanes as well, like on the cabin. You don't have to put it in the hold. It's a game changer. You know the importance of a good pram.
You can have nightmares with the buggy. It can be a real problem.
Our pushchair nightmares are behind us. Look at this beautiful specimen. I am more excited about getting my hands on this than I am a new car. Weighing just 7 kilograms, which is really not a lot, guys. Pip is lightweight yet sturdy, featuring a smooth one-hand fold mechanism for effortless use. What's so good about these is you can get all the way from birth it takes up to 25 kg. I mean, you're only
I jump in
you're
it.
27 kg, I think. But you can get quite far into the sort of childhood cycle with one pram. And it's just an absolute specimen of engineering.
Yeah, no, it works. It works so well. It like you say, you can go in it from lying down, completely lying down, being flat, being totally cocooned and protected, to actually going to this procedure and having a full view of the world. It really is. It's the perfect buggy.
This is IATA cabin approved for convenient travel, so you should still check with individual airlines before travel. But from experience, sometimes you get to the thing and they go, oh, you got to put that in the hold. You go, not today.
No,
this comes with me. The Pip is available in 5 stylish colorways. You have black, you have sage, you have limestone, you have sunset, and this particular model is the latte.
The latte, eh? How very hipster. I mean, whatever your style, they have a color to match exactly who you are.
Exactly right. And you can scan the QR code on the screen right now or tap the link in the description to find out more about the new Eye Candy Pip. Okay, so big thanks to Eye Candy for partnering this episode. Now, Rory, I want to talk about something. It's quite sad. I don't really know how to approach it, to be honest, and for multiple reasons. At one point, I didn't think we should talk about it in this podcast at all. It was only when Alex gave me the all clear, I decided that it was the right thing to do, and in a certain way, mainly because the whole point of doing this podcast, right, is to be transparent about the issues of fatherhood for us, is to share the difficult and the positive times, because that is what we're trying to do. When we have our rows and our disagreements, I love it. And I think that's a really interesting dynamic for the pod. But more important than that for me is that we're doing something good by helping people having those discussions. And if I felt that we weren't doing that anymore, I wouldn't do it anymore. I wouldn't continue the pod. So I think I have to talk about this. And Alex, in fairness to her, came to me and said that she thinks I should. So, I mean, there's no getting away from it. Basically, we lost Alex's dad last week. He passed away, unfortunately. So my father-in-law, I don't think we'd discussed it too much on the pod. He had a brain tumour, and it was a secondary cancer that came back from a cancer that he actually beat about 4 or 5 years ago, which was sort of stage 4 at the time. So he did amazing to come back from that. What I don't want to do is sort of talk too much about him and his life. I want to respect all the family and kind of leave that separate. But I do want to talk about the impact it has, on a family, and also how it pertains to my life as a dad, because, it has been a difficult week. It's been difficult for me, to be honest with you, but I can only imagine what that means for Alex. I'm very fortunate I haven't lost a parent yet, and nor had Alex. This is the first one in our sort of immediate family to do so. And, it's obviously been incredibly hard for her family. But the thing that I struggle with the most, if I'm honest, is telling my son, which I haven't done yet. So we nearly did it this morning. We've delayed it until Friday. And he's 4, right? He's 4. So I don't know how old you were when your grandparents passed away.
12.
12 as the youngest.
I remember it quite well. I remember it. Well, on the same day we had 2 funerals. Literally
really?
2 on the same day. So for my grandmother, her husband and her mum, same day.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I vaguely remember it. I was 12 though. It's very different to being 4.
Yeah.
And what you have to do now, I don't really know how you start. This is one of those situations where I can only give an opinion without any kind of experience or any kind of track record of being through this. I don't know how you process it. I don't know what you do. How close were your children with him?
Well, obviously my youngest is 1, so that's also something that makes me really sad, is that he'll basically never know his granddad now, My oldest did know him, and they did spend time together, and we did a lot of cool things like family holidays and things, and he will, feel his absence. I think all I can do is look at evidence from my life, and there is a debate as to whether you tell him at all. I'm obviously going to tell him at some point, but I think we decided to tell him because, Alex's mum is coming over on the weekend, and obviously he's going to dominate the conversation, and we're kind of talking around it when he's in the room at the moment, and he's a smart boy. Like, he'll pick up on it eventually. And even quite heartbreakingly, he came home from nursery on 2 days ago. 2 days ago with the drawing he'd done. He's loving drawing right now. He's drawing all day, every day, like literally producing. He went to my mum and dad's last weekend, and he came back with 40 drawings that he'd done, all in plastic envelopes. And he's getting really good. And he, just off his own back, he drew one on Monday at nursery and came back and he goes, "This is the whole family, and it's mummy and daddy and then granddad." And Alex and I sort of looked at each other, and it's almost cruel that he doesn't know at this point.
That as well, from Alex's perspective and yours as well. But certainly Alex's. That kind of conversation, it must just choke you. Like that. When that drawing was presented to you as a family, I imagine you then caught Alex's eye, and then it's really a choking moment.
I have to say, Alex has been incredibly strong. I mean, obviously, she's struggling with it. And, for me, it comes in waves myself. I like to keep myself busy. I've always got stuff to do. And then every now and then you'll find yourself and you'll have a little thought about how you're not going to see him again and your kids aren't going to know him. And, it's particularly if there's less going on, it does catch me. And I get quite upset. And I imagine what that's like for Alex and her family. I didn't really sleep last night, if I'm honest, because I thought we were telling my oldest this morning, which we've delayed now. But I just don't. Once you do it, you can't undo it. Do you know what I mean? You've said it, and he knows about death. He knows. He's really. And again, I think we talked about this many months ago on the pod when I talked about how I told him about my grandparents, and he knows who they are as almost characters in his life. Never met them, but he knows that there's a lady called Nanny June and Grandad Hank, and they live underground and they're spirits now, and all these things. And he talks about them all the time. The other day, I said to him, literally a week ago, I like to quiz him on things and give him rewards if he gets them right. He's a smart boy. And I said, "Which of my friends is a pilot?" Because one of my friends is a pilot. And he goes, "Grandad Hank," which is incorrect. But the point is, he's thinking about he doesn't know the man. The man died 30 years ago.
Yeah, you got no reward, but interesting.
No, yeah, you
get no present, but interesting. Yeah.
So he knows about them, but he's not lost them because they were never in his life.
Yeah.
And 2 of my grandparents have died while he's been alive, and he met them, but again, 1, 2 years old. This is someone he knows. He spent a lot of time with. So most of the people I've spoken to have said, like, you'd be surprised how kind of matter of fact they are at this age, and they'll kind of just crack on with it, which is probably what will happen. But
do you know with regard to this kind of thing, and all I can do, because thank God, touch wood, I haven't had to deal with anything as severe or poignant as this, but all I can do is make a link to something that I have had to deal with, and everything that I do with regard to my children is do my best to insulate them from any kind of pain, anything. So, like, say for example, a funeral is going to come around. Do your kids go to the funeral?
He's not going to go to the funeral. I think he's too young for that. And he'd probably just play up, to be honest.
There's no reason. Yeah. There's no reason, is there, to go? Like, I mean, people could maybe argue that the respect and the connection and the final moment or whatever, but I just think when that's happening and everybody's incredibly sad and it's an incredibly somber environment, he can be somewhere else, not having to go through that. Like,
no, exactly. He understands. I mean, exactly what you said. Like, when I think about telling him, I think about my experiences. So when I was 7, my granddad died, and I was old enough, like I had a good relationship with him. I used to go to his house on the weekends, we used to play dominoes together. Like, it was very upsetting for me when he died. And I remember I actually read something at his funeral, and then I was quite fine with that, to be honest.
Did you do? See, I'm always so impressed when I see people deliver that. Like, fairly recently, I don't know how people do it.
No,
I because also, do you know, I'm quite an weirdly, I'm like ridiculously emotional. Like, I get chokes. You know, when I just sometimes Clementine will do something, I just start crying.
Yeah.
Like, and it choke. When I see my nan, it just hits me. Like, even if I think about something, it just hits me. When I see that sort of stoicism, when somebody goes up and they can deliver a eulogy where they lionize the person to such a level, when they talk about the person's brilliant assets and all of the memories, and they can do that for you, I will break that. Like, I won't.
No, I think most people do. I don't think I am that guy. I think I was just 7. I don't think I knew this is what I was going to say. So I did that. My mum asked me to do it, and I was that kid in the sense of I'd go up and do things at school and things. And they knew I had a good relationship with him. So it wasn't a big deal for me. It was after that ceremony that we then went to put the coffin in the ground, and that's when I broke down, because I actually realised what was happening. Do you know when you see that go down? And I was like,
7 years old. It's such a powerful visual as well, isn't it? Watching a coffin be lowered into the ground. It's such a powerful visual.
It got me, and that was the kind of first time I actually realised he wasn't coming back. But so I was 7, my younger brother was 4, which is the age that my lad is now. And a year before that, we lost my great nan, who I was a bit close to as well. And the reason I bring that up is, so I was 6 and my younger brother was 3. Again, he was 3. You know, we talked about this the other day. He sort of barely remembers going to our house. My great nan was really extrovert. She had she was obsessed with tigers, and the whole house was covered in tigers. I mean, like, have you seen that episode of Alan Partridge where he meets his fan?
Yeah.
It's like got Alan Partridge everywhere. Imagine that, but for tigers.
Like Del Boy's house.
All
like
these,
leopard,
everything would be tiger.
Yeah.
Tigers
really?
on the wall, like in a crazy amount, right? And when she passed away, my mum and dad got my younger brother tiger teddy, called Smithy, because her surname was Smith, and that became his favorite teddy. And that was his favorite teddy until he didn't need a teddy anymore. Yeah. Well, so now actually my boy's got it.
He's got that teddy.
Quite cute. Yeah. But I had something similar when my granddad passed away. My birthday before that, he'd got me a Baloo from the Jungle Book, and I've still got that now. My little boy has it now. But that was my favourite teddy when I was a kid, because I knew of the connection to my granddad, and it meant more to me. So I'm thinking about getting him something that might help with that. One other thing I was thinking about saying to him is we're going to start off the conversation. And again, I don't know if this is the right thing to do. There'll be people that watch this that have done it. Maybe they've had to explain it to kids.
They're very interesting to hear the comments if anyone's watching this.
No, I'd like to. I'd really like to.
Get the DMs into the Instagram account.
I don't think there's a right way to do it, but my current thinking is I'm going to say to him, you know how Grandad Hank and Nanny June are spirits and underground? Well, they've got a new friend now, and just sort of saying they've got someone else to join them. And
what wording do you use? Do you use, for example, would you use the word?
I might not use it in that moment, but he doesn't know that word and uses it himself sometimes. So he understands the concept. If I was to guess, I think he'll probably just be like, oh, right, ask some questions and then crack on. And then over time, he might start to be like, oh, he's not actually around anymore. I don't think he'll actually, hope he doesn't get too upset from it. My sister-in-law sent me some kids' books that you can read to them to help. And the one I liked the most is one called The Invisible String. And it's a book, and it's not just about loss. It's also about like when you're not with your mum and she's not in the same place as you, and it's this idea of this invisible string that connects you to everyone that you love. And so even if they go to heaven, or even if they're in another country, or even if the string is always there, and it's a way of helping you cope with that. So I'll get that at some point and read that to him to help him with it. But honestly, if I was to guess, I think me and Alex are going to struggle with it more than he is, in the sense of the telling.
Yeah,
I think he'll probably just.
The problem is what these conversations do is they put us as parents into a situation where that your capability to protect is now impossible. Like what you are trying to do all of your life is to protect and shelter your children from any upset. And now you are now put into a position where it's impossible. Like there is now an upsetting situation that as adults you will have to countenance, but you would hope that you wouldn't have to put your children through it. But on some level you do,
life,
even in the most mild way. Yeah, it's impossible to not sort of pollute their happy bubble.
But and it sounds a bit cold, but at some point they have to get their head around the concept of death, because unless you understand death, you can't really live, in the sense of you can't really flourish and make the most of your chance to be alive until you understand that you are immortal. You are mortal, and your life will end.
That's true, but not evidence. For.
No, not for. And obviously, I wish I didn't have to do it.
True, but not for.
You know, my mum she watches the pod, and she sent a video to me of a guy not talking about death, but talking about what you're saying about how maybe too many parents are trying to shelter their kids from everything because they love them, because they want to do everything for them. But actually, the only way you grow and grow in confidence is by knowing you can do something, knowing you can handle rough situations. And if you shelter our kids too much, again,
but there's a problem here. There's a problem. And did you say that came from your mum?
Yeah.
Do you know what's different now compared to when your mum was raising you? The world now is so grim. It feels like we're bringing children up in a really difficult time, which is why I feel like people of our generation, we're so keen to protect. Whereas when I was young, my mum would almost usher me out the flat. Like I'd go out and I was more free. I was more able. I was more about because it was a nicer time. Society was a nicer place. Whereas now I think that the reason why we are so keen to constantly protect and mollycoddle and almost be overbearing is because we know there is a ticking time bomb effectively on our parenthood that is counting down to the day where our kids are going to have to find out about the unjust world in which they're living in, the difficult world that they're going to be born into, the arduous time that they're going to have at some point. Whereas I think we might be the first generation of parents to really feel like that.
Well, I don't necessarily agree with everything you just said. I think as parents we are more caring, and not caring is the wrong word. We are more sort of cognizant of the emotional psychiatry of parenthood and how you have to look after your kids, because we have sort of developed that, especially if you're lucky enough to have, you know, any kind of financial security. You start to think about the more psychological parts of upbringing the kids rather than the essentials of food and shelter and keeping them alive. And if you're in more of a difficult economic situation, you're more likely to want to toughen them up and get them to face, because you have a bleak view of the world yourself, potentially. I don't personally necessarily subscribe to the thought that the world is worse now than it was before, or is getting worse or anything like that. I think there's always challenges.
But would you concede that your wherewithal and acceptance and knowledge about how unfair and unjust a lot of society is and how difficult society is, just our awareness of it is different? Like I'm convinced that my mum would have never gone, shouldn't I have children? Is it a good world to be bringing? I don't think that was on their radar.
Yeah, but
maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think
for that. I think there's a load of different factors for that. I think there's they're not all about the world being different. Some people for that's a thing, but I think a lot of that's like, you know, people being more career motivated or wanting to go and do things in their life on a personal level because the world is so much smaller now and they can do it. And I think back in those days, they didn't even think like that. They didn't even think there was an opportunity for them to live abroad or work here or work there and all these things. So I think there's a load of things going on there. But I guess what I personally feel is if you truly believe what you're saying, i.e. the world is unjust and horrible and there's all these negative things in there, then I don't think mollycoddling your kids is the best way to protect them from that. I think if you really believe that, you've got to toughen them up. And that doesn't mean tough love and being a horrible parent. It means arming them with the skills to face difficulty. And you don't get those skills by not facing difficulty. You have to do it.
Yeah, I think it's just delaying an inevitable.
Yeah, and 4 isn't the age.
Yeah, no,
we can agree on that for sure.
Absolutely.
But
is Alex coping?
Listen, everyone keeps asking me that, and I think that obviously it's hard. It's bad. Right. It's an awful week, right? And it will be awful for a while. But at the same time, she's doing everything she can. Like she's doing incredibly well. I think that she said something to me the other day because a friend of hers lost her dad recently, and he is in a very different situation to us. He's a single guy, doesn't have a partner right now. So in that sense, I reckon it's a lot harder because he has so much time to fill his mind with those negative thoughts and get upset. And when you're a parent of 2 young children, as much as you might want to just chill and almost wallow and grieve, there's not a lot of time to grieve, man.
Yeah.
Like there isn't a lot of time. And
in a way, your children, in a way, being a mother insulates you from the time to process the agony.
You have
you
got
don't
to
have a
process
choice.
it, and you need to find your way of processing it. And obviously, I need to help her as much as I can with that. But yeah, there isn't time to do it, and I think that might be a blessing in a way, as long as you do process that emotion. You know, there's the is it the 5 stages of grief or the 7 stages of grief? I forget, but I know that 2 of them. One of them is bargaining, and one of them is denial, and then they're both sort of like this idea of not accepting. You know, either trying to get out of it, and the grief doesn't have to be a loss of a loved one; it could be something else. But and then this denial, and I think Alex is a little bit in that denial stage at the moment, like not denial, but trying to like it just doesn't feel fair. She's sort of like because he was older, right, than the rest of the grandparents now. He's about 10 years older, so he was about he would have turned 79 later this year. Which still feels young in the sense of what we would like to have. And he was a young 78-year-old, you know, he was very active, and it was very sudden, to be honest, even though he had his cancer scare previously. Essentially from sort of March, April was the first we kind of knew about this. And then, you know, he's passed away in July. So it's crazy sudden.
How's the grandmother?
Yeah, I mean, it's rough, mate. It's rough for everyone. I think, you know, Alex got 2 brothers as well, and there's all the other cousins as well. It's just, I just don't think you can't talk your way out of it. You can't. There's no cheat code. You just have to go through it. No,
there is no cheat code, of course not. But with regard to adults, you're right. You just have to go through it. There is a more nuanced conversation about how you do this with regard to children.
Yeah,
and I do think that's interesting, and I think it's interesting to hear how you're ultimately going to proceed. And the truth of the matter is today, you don't really know.
Well, I think we do. I mean, my initial response was don't tell him. Just let him have his little bubble of ignorance for as long as you can. And then we were like, right, he's not going to go to the funeral. But then we were like, right, you know, Alex's mum's going to come over. He's going to hear conversations. He understands everything. He's a very clever boy. Like, he's going to hang out with his cousins. They're all going to know. Something's going to get said at some point. Is it not better to tackle it head on and try and do it with real, like, care and, you know, delicateness than just ignore it? And I'd love not to have to tell him. I would love to just let him crack on. But I also think I want to be the deliberate kind of parent who has those hard conversations. Even though he probably won't remember it at 4 when he's older. You know, he may not. It's kind of on the cusp there at that age, I'd say. But I do want to be there for him and not be that guy who just didn't talk to him about it and he just finds out some other way. Do you know what I mean? That feels wrong. So you just got to do it, mate.
Do you feel like it will be you? Do you feel like it's too raw for Alex?
No, we'll do it together. I think Alex has to be involved in it, obviously. I would happily do it for her if she didn't want to, but I know she wants to be part of it, and I think we'll do it together. And again, I think that's an important thing, that you have a little united front and he sees both sides to it. And I explained to him that this is why maybe your mum's a little bit down.
Tight family conversation.
Yeah.
If there is a feeling of loss, at least you two providing a united front and a closed family unit, visually it's probably stronger, isn't it? You know, if there's potential the loss of somebody, at least seeing your 2 parents together when you hear that news could be more.
Certainly, united front. And I think maybe it's a different dynamic when he's the oldest as well, because like I asked my mum what she did when my granddad died, and she said she sat all 3 of us down. So you had a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, which was me, and a 4-year-old. It's the first loss we probably experienced. We had a great grandmother the year before, and she said she sat us all down, and she knew that we could all support each other, and I think that's very true. And so my younger brother at 4 then, whilst he was 4, he had a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old to kind of follow the reaction of and understand the emotion. Whereas when you're a 4-year-old and there's no one above you,
No, you're
who does he talk
you're the
to about
senior,
it,
aren't you? Did you have you spoken to Saunders about it? Can he remember that conversation at all?
I spoke to him about it before he passed away, but when it was clear that he was going to, I spoke to him about it. Then I asked him if he remembered it, and he said loosely, he could loosely remember it. Like it's interesting because so that granddad, when he died, his wife, my nan, who passed away like 20 odd years later, more than that, almost 30 years later actually. We found her. It wasn't particularly nice. We found her.
You specifically?
Well, my dad, and then we went and helped him. So all me and my brothers and my dad was in the presence of her.
Jesus,
body.
mate.
Yeah. And she'd been dead for a few days as well. She'd been there for a few days. Pretty grim. I don't even want to get into detail of it because it will probably. I'm happy to talk about it, but it would probably.
No. Without being specifics, gosh, that's.
Yeah. So what was obviously that wasn't nice, but at the same time, what it meant was all three of us, my dad as well, but all three brothers actually experienced that together, and we comforted each other. And it's really interesting dynamic actually because, so my dad was there. He rang my mum, told mum he'd gone to visit her, and basically she was at the bottom of the stairs, quite traumatic. And so my mum rang me and told me, and then I was like, right, I'm gonna ring my dad, see if I can get to help him. And obviously rang my dad, and he was like, don't worry, I'm waiting for the ambulance. Don't worry.
Had she fallen? Is that what happened?
Well, we don't. The honest answer, we don't know. Like we never will know. But the autopsy showed that she had got pneumonia or something. So either she fell down the stairs or she fainted at the bottom of the stairs. There was like a coat that had come off the rack and stuff. And do you want to know? Honestly, this is so grim, right? Do you want to know the horrible truth of it?
I don't know. Actually,
she was at the bottom of the stairs, and when my dad found her, she had the post on top of her. The postman had come and delivered the post. God. And it was like a semi-see-through sort of stained glass door thing. So it's mad that he didn't even see it anyway. So it's not a nice thing. The point is, my dad sort of was being stoic and was like, don't worry about coming sort of thing. And I kind of, you do what your dad says. And I hung up the phone and I was like, no, that's not right. He can't be there on his own. So I went and I spoke to the brothers, and we all went and got there as soon as we could. Forget the exact order. I think I was over there first, or my younger brother was there first. But the point is, this is why I think dynamics of siblings is so interesting. I got there, my younger brother was there, and he was really upset. And so I, without thinking about it, went into older brother mode and didn't allow myself to really process the emotion of the moment because I was comforting my younger brother. As soon as my older brother got there, I broke down and started crying. Because it was like, I'm allowed to be upset. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's not, I wasn't conscious. It wasn't conscious at all. But it was like, right, I'm parking those emotions. I need to look after him. And then your older brother comes and you're like, okay, you can let loose sort of thing. And he comforted me. And I just find that stuff so interesting. It's like almost animalistic in our duty, to do certain things. We just fall into our roles. And it is linked to my boy now because he's the oldest and he hasn't got anyone. He's got us, obviously, but he hasn't got an older sibling to go to. His younger brother won't be able to talk to him about it.
You mentioned the cousins.
Yeah, he's got a lot of cousins, and
they're close. They know each other.
Yeah, they know each other well. Yeah, you got anything from you've got a 13-year-old, like an 11-year-old, and all the way down. One's really close to him, age-wise. One's a little bit younger than even our youngest baby. So there's a whole range of kids there.
Mate, it's just harrowing. It's such a difficult thing to do, and a very rare circumstance this, but there actually isn't a right answer, and it's one of those even rarer examples where I don't even think that people think there is a right answer. Like, with most things that we talk about, even when there isn't a right answer, people think they know the answer. I believe this, and therefore that's the right answer, when they're actually wrong potentially. This isn't that. This is one of those things where I feel like everybody listening is going to be going, I have no idea what Spencer should do here. I have no advice to suggest to him.
Well, also, they might have done a certain technique with their kids, but their kid might be a different kind of character. So you know what I mean? It might work for them and not for others. I think that this is a good sort of microcosm of all parenting. Really, is there's a million of these dilemmas, and there's a million of these forks in the road where you don't know what to do. And why would you know what to do? There's no handbook, and certainly if it's your oldest, it's your first time experiencing it. For me, what gives me some comfort is it's not about what you do, it's about the intention. Like if your heart, why is this hard? It's hard because I can't bear the thought of my little boy being upset and him for the first time understanding the concept of losing someone and never seeing them again. It's hard for me, mate. I find myself getting really upset, thinking I'm never going to see my father-in-law again. And of course knows what Alex is going through. So how does a 4-year-old explore those emotions, right? But the reason it's hard for me is because I really care.
Yeah.
So if you really care and you maybe get it wrong, because that, I don't even know if getting the wrong is the right word, but you choose the less optimal approach for that child, but it's completely innocent mistake because you're trying your best. Long term, you're going to be a good parent because you care and you're making conscious decisions. So it's just, there is, I keep saying to Alex, like when I comfort her and I want to make her feel better, like you can't, there's that kids' books, like you can't go over it, can't go under it. Like there is no escape. You just have to go through it.
Yeah.
You have to experience it.
I mean, I guess on some level, as you've intimated there, it's a rite of passage. This is one of those bumps in the road that you are going to have to go through as a parent at some point. There's always going to be these conversations that come up.
I wish it was later. But...
How you process it, I really don't know. Do you know what you just said there though? If it's later, I wonder if it is easy. Is there an argument? Like you've had a conversation today with Clementine. You know that wherewithal that develops at 6. I wonder if 4 is easier than 6, or 6 is easier than 8, or
honestly, if I was to put money on it, I think he'll take it really well. I really do. Maybe it's good in a way in terms of preparing him for future loss.
There is a resilience in children that exists that I didn't necessarily like. I haven't got anything to compare it to as drastic as this, but I have seen a resilience in children that I didn't necessarily expect, and I've certainly seen a resilience in children that is far superior to that of adults.
No,
adults are inclined to capitulate far quicker.
You understand the context of everything much more.
I think weaker as well. I think more emotional than child.
Just to be clear as well, in case anyone thinking this is incredibly ironic, that we are so conscious of not upsetting my boy, and yet Clementine's on set. We have made sure she's wearing headphones and she's not listening to us. I wouldn't. It was the first thing I said to Rory when I found out she was coming in, whether we park this conversation. And to be honest, again, my preference was not. My preference was not to park it, because I'd be coming on here and I'd be not really being genuine about what I'm going through and what I'm thinking. Like, if we can't do that on an internet dad's pod about the struggle, the difficult week I'm having as a dad, then what's the point of doing it?
Yeah.
And to the point where I even said to Saffron, our producer, beforehand, like I really am conscious of like what we title and thumbnail this video, for example, because it should be about this, because that is basically what this episode's about. But it also shouldn't be like Spencer F. No one was suggesting we do this, by the way. But it's Spencer FC's father-in-law passed away. Like it should be something like dealing with grief.
Just reflective of the topic, of course.
But it's easy to fall into that trap though when you're in this game, isn't it? And you think, oh, what's the best title and all that stuff, and it just that's the sort of thing that makes me not even want to talk about it at all.
Well, it's also the kind of thing that, off the back of everything that we've discussed today, starting with an opinion on a football kit and moving into the situation that we've just been discussing, you suddenly realise the insignificance of all of the minutiae that we get wrapped up in.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? What kit are you wearing? What are you talking about? You have an opinion on somebody wearing it, like, you idiot.
That's why I wanted us to talk about that at the start of the show, even though some people might think, oh, well, that's a real change in mood. It would be weird if it was the other way around. We just had this.
Anyway, Spence, forget all that. What are you wearing?
But it's been a rough year, man, if I'm honest. Like, my best mate lost his brother a few months ago, and I knew him really well. He's only 39. Alex is a really good friend with my friend as well. Lost his dad a few weeks ago. Months ago now, maybe. It's just, I hope that's the end of it, to be honest. I hope there's no more. But we are getting to that point in our lives, unfortunately, mate.
This is it. It's a terrifying prospect. But as soon as you're above 30, 35, depending on you, this is going to start to be the conversation.
You've got to try and use it for some good. How do you feel about a living funeral? Where you have one before you die, so you get to see how people really think about you. Especially
mate, that's so funny that you mentioned this. I've just watched an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, I've seen that.
About this.
Yeah, the guy,
And it's so funny.
Yeah.
And the geezer is actually, via video link, watching his own funeral.
I know.
It's so, I've never heard of that before.
People do them. I think mainly if you know you're dying. Like, so if you've got terminal illness, for example, and you think, there's a massive party happening, I'm going to miss it. You can be part of it. And I'm all here for it.
I wouldn't go to somebody's alive funeral.
Mate, if someone's if someone's
I'm not going to commit to it.
If I do one next week and go, just in case, guys, just have a bit, that's mad. But if someone is passing away,
I'm not coming. I'm not coming. I would never. The commitment that I would demonstrate to a funeral of a dead person is a lot more than the commitment I would like. I'm not taking a day off work for your fake funeral. I will take a day off.
How sad, right? That this is and every family is different, right? And every family is better or worse at sort of communicating their feelings and being, tactile or being loving in person. And how sad that we almost withhold the greatest emotion of how we feel about someone till after they can't hear it.
It's the thing about flowers, give them the flowers while they can still smell them.
Exactly.
Something along those lines.
Why not? Again, if
be
someone...
a bit weird though, wouldn't it?
If we were to do a funeral for ourselves now, yes, that'd be very odd, right? So on the funeral thing, I would say if someone is terminally ill and you're going to lose them, I think amazing to do it. I would love to be part of that.
I'm not taking a day off work to be at your funeral with you. That's ridiculous.
I think this is a good example of where you're letting tradition blind you a little bit. And I personally, from my perspective, think
no one else is coming to your live funeral.
I honestly think it's a much better way of doing it. But anyway,
Saffron, would you go to Spencer's alive funeral?
If I was passing away, Saffron, if I had months to live.
Oh yeah, you have to do a guest list. You have to actually send out invites.
Yeah, but you haven't got to deal with the aftermath.
Mate, I think, but when you actually go, and like I'm more likely to go first than you, let's face it. But when let's say I'll go first, but I promise you this: the day I go, you'll have a great day.
And wouldn't you? I'd rather you be there for it.
You'd have a better time without me.
That's true. But the thing I was going to say, just to go back to your earlier point, is when you said how weird would it be if you said the impact I'd had in your life now. So forget the funeral thing, forget the idea of dying. You know what we really need to get better at is doing that in life. We need to get better at thanking people, not thanking, but telling people the importance of them in your life and having those discussions when you can. And nothing to do with dying.
I think I'm very good at that.
Like I once sat down, I remember the exact moment. I was living in Clapham, so I was going to be, I think I was about 24, 25, and I had a couple of mates, one of which is the guy who's a pilot now, another which is a friend of mine, really good friend of mine, and we sat down in Bodine's, and so he had me, who had my foot in the door at a production company. He had my pal, who at that point wasn't even on the path to being a pilot, he was working at HSBC in banking, and my other pal was also working in banking in Royal Bank of Canada, and all three actually are quite competitive things to get into, and none of us had any leg up. So I had no contacts in production, and it's a hard slog, man. You run in for stuff, you're literally just trying to get people to give a shit. And I'd got my foot in the door finally, and I was working at a production company. My pal, who I went to uni with, who was doing all the internships and desperate to try and get a job in banking, which everyone wanted, like if you're that kind of way inclined, had got himself in HSBC, and so had my other pal at his bank. And we're all so hungry. We're always moaning, having a drink, moaning about how we need to do this job and do that, and climb, earn, do. And I was like, boys, should we just take a moment to give ourselves a pat on the back? Now, I'm not saying we take our foot off the gas, and we're going to go, but you've got the job that 3-4 years ago at uni we used to discuss about how hard it was to do, and I didn't know if it was going to happen. You've done the same, and I've managed to get myself into the industry that I'd had no help in doing. And well done, boys, well done. And we had a little moment, and I was like, I'm really glad I did that, and I don't think people do it enough.
Oh, I think I do. I genuinely do. I feel like on a really regular basis, I thank my lucky stars and consider myself the luckiest man in the world. I genuinely feel like I say that a lot.
But do you do it to other people as well?
Yeah, I tell people constantly how well they. I think
I'd say you are
effusive with my praise.
I'm talking more about just general public.
Yeah, no, I think I am. Like even with you, I would often say off camera, "Man, you've done so well. Like you've got the. I mean, I said it to you the other day. In terms of like living the dream.
100% agree with you.
Whether you think
you're an outlier, though. I think you're an outlier.
Yeah, no, I don't think people do it as much.
Are good at
but
it.
Do you know why I feel like I do it? Because I didn't. Because basically, when Clementine was born 6 years ago, things weren't good. And now every day I look around, I'm like, oh my God, thank God. And I really am so grateful.
Having that perspective is so important, isn't it? And that's what death does do. Actually.
No, it does. It does. And you are right, Fred. We don't talk anywhere near enough. And this is now tapping into sort of men's mental health issues, isn't it? We don't talk enough. And the point that you made about the funeral and the things that are said at the funeral, there is a huge chance, I mean, it's almost a guarantee, in fact, that the person who's died will not know that's how loved they were.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's a fact.
Yeah.
But also, it's kind of just the way it is.
You know what I think we should do?
I'm not having a funeral now.
You get to the age, I don't know the exact process, but there's an age you get to where they make you get your driving license again.
Yeah, 75.
Whatever it is. And it's just like, and I think it's actually too easy to get it again, to be honest. I think they need to test you because there's people driving out there.
I think they should test people. It's not about being 75. What do you know about tyre tread depths now? Since you passed your theory test.
I don't think I knew anything at the time.
Yeah.
But the point is, there's a process in life. You get to a certain age and they make you do something. I think there should be an age where you have a funeral. And it doesn't have to be called a funeral. A life celebration.
You know what you could
Maybe
do?
75, 80, 85. Who knows what their right age is?
Do you know what you could do? You could just, rather than having a funeral, you could do is you could have a party for absolutely no reason.
Almost like a retirement party.
And just call it like just have a gathering of, this is what you should do.
Yeah. A
gathering of the ones you love. And for absolutely no reason.
This is what I've been saying to I got my brother and one of my best pals both turning 40 this year. And I'm saying to them, lads, I'm not a big birthday guy. You would never know it was my birthday. If I turned up here, it was my birthday. I wouldn't tell you. And if you asked me, I would obviously. But like the point is, I don't suggest doing anything. I'm not that guy. Alex, for years, has tried to get me to do stuff. However, I draw the line at not celebrating. And I know this is all arbitrary. What is 40 compared to 39 or whatever? But the point is, 40 or whatever age, landmark age, is a when you get older, it's really hard to get people to do stuff. Like it is, because we've all got kids and we're all busy, right? Yeah. But if you say to me, come to my 40th, I'm there.
No, I'll come to you. Yeah.
I will.
That's the beauty of
cancel other things. I will say, I am there. It's his 40th, guys. I've got to go.
That's the difference between a fake funeral and a funeral, though. I'm not taking a day off work.
Maybe. I don't know.
A fake one.
The point is, though, it's a ticket.
You should.
It's a free ticket, even if you don't like it. And I don't, but I can tell you this. If I'm lucky enough to still be here when I'm 40, there will be a big celebration. And it will be, like nothing I've ever really done before. Because why wouldn't you take the opportunity to get people together? It's not about me.
That I agree with. Just having a sense of occasion, even just for the point of it and for those around you, is probably worth.
It's a free ticket to get your mates together. Some of them you would not have seen for years. Some of them wouldn't have seen each other and interacted with each other in a long time.
The message on this show is carpe the diem.
Carpe diem. Some of my dad's favourite phrases. Seize the day. You know what film made that phrase famous?
Right, open the gates and seize it. That.
No, well, I don't know if it's Dead Poets Society.
Oh, of course.
Robin Williams. Carpe diem. I thought this is quite a heavy episode. An important episode, and this isn't a we talked about death that week. This is going to be something that's going to affect my family now for a long, long time. But to give it a little bit of light, I know you like some of my off-piste ideas.
Oh God!
What? So I'm going to drop one with you now.
What are you going to do? So you're going to sing it.
So Alex and I have been doing our wheels recently, right? Completely unrelated to that, but it's just something we'd always meant to do and never got round to, and we've been doing them slowly but surely.
Am I in there?
That is great. That is good from you. This isn't the point I was going to make. But you know what's actually really interesting as we talk about internet dads is obviously with wheels you've got to prepare for the worst, right? It's not just if one of you goes; if you both go, and you can and should nominate who you want to have your kids.
Yeah,
and that's a really tough decision, man.
Do you want to?
There's so many.
Take her home today if you want.
No, but there's so many factors to consider. It's like
just go to my mum.
Who wants them?
Or Victoria's.
Yeah, but that's
parents.
hard to plan. Numbers wise, odds wise, statistically. You want someone that's your age or younger.
Yeah.
So it's like
you got brothers.
Yeah, but also Alex has brothers as well. And it's like is it about their own family setup? Is it about whether they actually want to do it? Is it about their economics of their life and then they can handle and support it?
Mate,
it's a really hard decision, mate. Because if I said to you,
I could upgrade Clementine's life. I could put someone in there better than me.
Mate, you wouldn't let me have her. You'd be worried about me homeschooling her.
God, mate.
Putting her out of school.
I could put her in. I could nominate Bazinga.
Well, I was thinking that. Can you just nominate anyone? Could you go to the king,
Bazinga and Faith. Bazinga and Faith, if you're watching this, if I end up brown bread, you have to raise my children.
It's only
Faith,
fair.
We've never met. Bazinga, you're a great man. You have to bring my children up if anything happens to me in Victoria.
I think it's only fair. We got their set, they get our kids.
Yeah. Yeah, you just go for someone better than you.
No, I mean, I think, there's a lot of things to consider there. But you obviously got to make sure they're up for it. It's one of them, like, if my brothers or anyone close to me asked me to do it, it wouldn't be a moment's thought. It'd be, yes, put me down, I'll do it, right? but not everyone necessarily would feel that way. You know, and then my stance on like adoption, all these sorts of things. Like, I'd see it as an honor, and I'd actually hate it to happen for the obvious reason, but love to be asked. But anyway, that's something that Alex and I are going through at the moment. But the thing I was going to say that you might like in terms of my craziness. So I've had this running joke with Alex for years. And now we get into the wheel, it's almost like, well, do I actually mean it? And essentially, now this is a really off-piste story, but I'll tell you really quick. So my dad, in his younger life, used to do he had a business, and he used to do refrigeration and air conditioning and all that sort of thing. And he a lot of his clients are quite high net worth individuals. And he once, and this, I'm going to caveat all this and say this is allegedly, this is a story I've heard from a third party. It could be absolute nonsense. Okay. My dad is adamant this is true. He once went to the house of this is how I'll protect myself, I won't say their names, a very famous female chef. Don't guess who it is, just leave it at that.
Claire Smith.
A very famous female chef who also had a very high profile husband, I think at the time. I'm not saying any more about them. He said it was a very interesting house. Stop trying to guess who it is.
I know who it is.
I'll tell you afterwards.
I know.
But lots of very ornate and crazy decorations. A big house, obviously, big grounds and all these things.
This is so obvious who it is.
Right? So, and it was a bit like out there, the house. Anyway, my dad stopped for a bit of lunch, and he sits down on this bench they've got in their garden, and there's a man sitting next to him. And he starts talking to him, and he's not getting anything back. He's thinking, this guy's a bit rude. He looks at him, and he realizes, again, this is my dad's contention, that it is a stuffed man.
Right.
A man who has died, almost like
Lenin.
Oh, right,
a taxidermy
a real
person.
human that has been like Lenin in the mausoleum, stuffed.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And that gave me an idea. I want to be stuffed when I die.
No, mate.
And I want to be put in the garden and hashtagging it like this.
Not having a picture of you, no. Nobody wants that, mate.
That's what I said to Alex for 10 years. I want to be stuffed when I die.
No.
And put in the garden.
See, if you were to go sooner rather than later, would you wish Alex to remarry? Would you be happy for us?
Let me just finish this thought. We'll get back to that. I said to Alex, I've been joking, I've been saying that sort of tongue-in-cheek for 10 years. If we don't actually clarify it on the will you actually do that? Have you taken it seriously? And she's like, well, I don't know. Do you want to be? And I'm like, I think I might want to be stuffed.
Don't be stupid.
And so we're considering that. But going back to the other point, you know what thought to me when Alex's dad passed away, and obviously it's maybe a bit premature and silly, and it wouldn't really have been possible in his case. But as I get older, and science advances, I might want to be frozen.
Oh, God, what's wrong with you?
If I get frozen...
Mate, you make the impossible possible.
Frozen is possible. They're literally doing it now.
How am I the rational person?
They're doing it now, mate. They're doing it now. Minority Report, all that sort of stuff. It's like, not Minority Report, Vanilla Sky. Vanilla Sky, if you haven't seen it, I might have just spoiled the ending for you.
Great rapper.
But, different guy. Vanilla Sky is basically happening.
Mate, I can't talk to you about this because you're insane.
Well, you think it's not possible?
Yes, I think it's not possible because I'm sane and you're not.
No, if they freeze me while I'm alive...
they freeze you now, and then in 1,000 years...
Yeah, 100%.
Don't be stupid.
Mate, the only risk to me, in my opinion, there's a couple of risks involved. One, you have to get frozen before you die, therefore you miss a bit of life. Second of all, do you trust the company? If they just turn the electricity off, if they run out of business, if their business fails,
mate,
what happens
what
to you?
What are you talking about? Someone has to effectively murder you.
No, they don't.
Well, just freeze you when you're alive.
So if I was terminally ill or something that couldn't get cured right now, I say, right, here's some money, freeze me, they put me to sleep.
Once every episode it happens. We should have a klaxon.
No, this is literally happening.
Yeah, no, it's literally happening. No, this is once every episode. I should ring a bell when you basically go nuts.
Anyway, the point of the thing is, I only want to be stuffed. I only want to be stuffed if we've explored the cryogenic freezing.
Okay, but we'll sort that out. You leave that with me. I'll stuff you.
No, but if you can freeze me.
Freezing.
I want that said on the record now. That if we don't get the wheel finished for any reason, if something happens to me on the way home, let this be I am of sane mind. He'll disagree with that, but I'm of sane mind and good health.
No, you're not.
If I die and there's a freezing option, please explore that.
The Iceman cometh. There we have it. Thank you to everybody for watching this episode. It's been quite powerful, apart from Spencer's moment at the end when he went insane. I'm really keen to hear your thoughts on this. Really keen to hear your guidance, your experiences. So thank you so much. And if you are affected by anything that you've heard today, there is a link in the description which can help you guide your way through it. We all wish you well. We appreciate you watching this episode. Spencer, thank you so much for sharing. Powerful stuff.
Fine, mate. There's no getting around it.
We obviously send love and wish you well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, mate. And yeah, better times ahead. I'll finish on the note to say, like the Fred Again song, light, dark, light again. You got to go through the dark to get back to the light.